It's the month of love, but also the end of the year of a snake. What an interesting mix. And as a very sensitive person myself, I am super excited to be here sharing to any other sensitive person, highly sensitive person out there, what is it that we might be feeling this year at this moment, 2026, second week of February, in this month of love, San Valentine. Every year has its own flavor. I have to say, this one already started very interestingly, and I want to say, us very sensitive people, it's very easy for us to feel overwhelmed, especially when there's just so much going on, and that's what we got. That's where we are in history. There's so much going on, but there's a very interesting flavor for this month of love this year. So I want to share a little bit of the energetics we might be experiencing right now. I don't think it's anything negative, to be honest, even though if you have been going through a lot of shedding, I feel like it's a wonderful feeling. I feel like probably you are at the same place of you did the deeper shedding already, and now we're kind of coming to the end of the process, and we are being hit by this wave of everything that we experienced, I want to say, around the world, because I'll get into the details, but I think this week, from the first one to the second week of February, we've been experiencing a lot. I'm not gonna get too much into politics, to be honest, not my interest. But even though I want to say, like, us as sensitive people, like, even if we don't follow news, we still use social media, we're still exposed, people talk about things, and we sense it. Even if we're not directly exposed to what's happening, we get the wave, we get the heat of what's happening. So I want in this video to share first what are the energetics, what is it that we might be feeling right now for this interesting month of the love. Not only interested, this year is very interesting, but for sensitive people, I think we love love. I want to say that most of us are romantic humans. We sense deeply, and we sense a lot, we experience a lot of feelings and things, and yeah, it's a happy time, I want to say, for all of us. Even if you're not in a relationship, we enjoy the juice, the colors of love and romance, and right. I would like to hear what you think and how you feel about it. I wanted to share the energetics of what we might be feeling, but also I want to share a tool that can help us to work through this. It's not a tool for only working with what we might be experiencing, especially, for those times of transformation. It's a tool that hopefully can stay with you, and you can come back to it whenever you need it. It is a wonderful tool. There's a lot of people talking about it out there. It's so special, so big. I have to say that the way it has presented in my life, it feels almost like whenever I received it, the couple of times that has, came into my life, it feels like it was meant to be there in that moment. I was meant to experience it, to connect with it. I hope it feels the same way for you today. Whenever you watch this video, there's an energy, there's a special energy about it, that, yeah, it always gets me feeling that way, like it was meant for me to connect with this information right now in this way. It came back to me. That's what I'm like, I have to share this with the community, with the people that watch my videos, for anyone that finds this video. One thing that I want to say about that is that because it's so huge, it's very big, I want to say, in spirituality and self-development. A lot of people talk about it, and everyone connects with it from their own perspective, from their own experience. So I would love you to be open and to be curious, and obviously it will, be beautiful if you connect with the way I approach it and I work with it. but I love to encourage people to always create their own version of things. So I invite you to watch my video and maybe also go and watch other people and find the way that feels good and authentic for you to work with it. So let's start by talking a little bit of what's the craziness that's going on. What's going on right now in this month of the love, and with the flavor of the end of the year of the snake. And then we will go into the tool. The name of the tool is Ho'oponopono. Maybe some of you know about Ho'oponopono already, but I'm just like so crazy excited to talk about it. I think I have another video where the first time I was practicing it, using it, I think I also got super inspired and I shared about it. So let's start by understanding a little bit, by talking a little bit about the energetics that are going on right now. For the month of the love in 2026, the energetics that we got, what's on the play for us right now, it's an interesting mix. If you are, yes, in spirituality, you are one of those sensitive humans as I am, I'm 100% sure that you've been going through a lot of transformation, you've been going through a lot of shedding. So we got that. We got to San Valentine almost like without hair, without skin, like we are turning into a horse now. It's just like a very strange creature that we might be at the moment. And also the world is going, I mean, the world is been always in crisis in different, phases. Right now it's kind of crazy. But we are arriving to San Valentine after the Super Bowl in the United States. I'm sorry, yes, I'm gonna probably be talking mostly for people that experience, I wanna say that everyone was watching and everyone is aware of what happened with the Super Bowl, even if you are not in America. But as I said, I'm not gonna touch politics. I don't care that much about politics. And I just don't like getting into those energies. So what happened, I don't think is anything new. I don't think it's the first time that a big artist is talking about love. The only thing more powerful than hate is love. What a beautiful, strong statement. Not the first time that we hear this from an artist. I think the Beatles said, all we need is love, and many other artists have been talking about love and unconditional love and the power of love. So humanity is being reminded right now about that idea. It's been a while that we don't hear it, but if we feel into that, if we think about it, it's nothing that we don't know. In our personal lives, we love talking about, I want to be loved unconditionally. We have that understanding, we have that awareness that that's something that exists. But what's happening right now, part of their energetics that we are experiencing right now, is that this beautiful human, in one of the biggest events, I want to say, around the world, a lot of people were watching that event, he reminds us of that in such a bold, beautiful, authentic way. So that's in the background, and it just happened a week ago. It's just right now we are, coming to San Valentine, coming out of, not even out, like we're just like arriving to San Valentine, coming from this energy of God. Unconditional love is the way. Because another artist could have used that event to, continue the cycle of hate. We all felt it. I know we all have different ways to perceive life and what happens around us. But I want to say that collectively it touched a place of unconditional love in our hearts. There's a truth that was exposed. We had a remembering in that moment. I want to say, yes, in different layers. I am a Latina, so obviously touches very deepest stuff for me. But I think the message was clear. Love is the way. So we are coming to San Valentine. with that. And if we think about that, it wasn't like the world is having a kind of a stable a moment. We are, we're having a lot of peaceful interactions from into one country to another. No, this guy is talking about love because we are in a freaking crazy emotional war, if we can say. I know other people think that there's an actual war, and I don't want to deny that. I like to talk more about emotions and energetics. So if we feel into that, I think we are arriving to San Valentine in a similar energy. There's a dating crisis, which is insane. I might record another video talking about my perspective about dating and what's happening in dating, but that's what we got. We are at a place in history where we are in that emotional war. And it doesn't have to be negative as the actual war we're experiencing in the world, even though Bad Bunny started, he's initiating, he is kind of showing us that there is another way how we can lead that war, how we can be part of that war, with the idea of love is the way, right? So we are in this emotional war in dating where we are making different choices. And just to describe a little bit my perspective of what I think is happening, as I said, I might record another video going deeper, but a lot of people, I want to say, we all are aware that mostly women went into a deep self-development journey since, we can say, the pandemic. It's not new for us. We know this. So what happened with that is that we learned that, there is a regulated nervous system that we get to experience. And we are enjoying that. We are doing the cold plunge. We're doing all the wellness stuff. And we know what a regulated nervous system feels like. So we don't want to have kids. We don't want to be in a relationship that doesn't feel aligned because we don't want to risk everything that we just invested in to be able to experience that regulated nervous system. So the good news for us is that I feel like it's just going to take us a little bit in this love war to stabilize. I feel like it's just brand new, the regulated nervous system, the choosing ourselves first, and we will go back into having beautiful and loving relationships. Like I can see it clearly. We're just in that process of adjusting, calibrating, recalibrating, like, okay, we learned this much information. We have all this wisdom now in how we want to feel and what we don't want to feel. Now, how from this place, I want to experience the things that I want to experience. So yeah, it's just gonna take a little bit, but we will get back. We will get there. So with these two energetics, the dating crisis and what's happening around the world, they're just very similar. It seems like both spaces, if we can say, are saying the same. There's only one way that is more powerful than in this space, separation and hating each other, blaming, men have been dominating and treating women, and that's silly stuff. And here the power of his message is like, yeah, I could attack, and I could continue the cycle of hate, but let me show you that there's another way. One more thing that I want to say about what we experienced in the Super Bowl, what's a little bit of the landscape of what we're experiencing right now in the world is, from this event, is that there's a very contagious energy from this human, Bad Bunny. I appreciate him so much, so deeply. I've been following, I've been a big fan of the guy for many years, so I feel like I can speak like I don't want to say that I know him, obviously, but I've been following his energy, his work for a while. So there's a very contagious energy, and something so special about this performance that he just had in the Super Bowl is that somehow he got everyone dancing. Somehow he not only delivers this message of love, but he creates this energy where people are just like making jokes, laughing, enjoying life. Tell me if you didn't have so much fun this week seeing all the content, all the media that we were exposed to, like the costumes of the grass. Like, it's hilarious, right? So this is something special that I would like to share. What's happening there with this human is that he's reflecting, he's just reminding us, he's showing us, because we all have versions of this in ourselves, that in order for us, one way how we can be that love, he's let's say he's leading, he's showing us, this is the way, love is the way. And the way he gets there, like, I'm sure there's maybe a lot of people talking about this idea too. I'm sure I'm not the only one talking about this. The joyfulness of this human, it's what it's showing us, that this human truly embodies, lives that energy of love in him. It's like, we wouldn't have felt the power of his message if the guy was a grumpy, like an angry dude. We'll be like, who's this guy to be talking about love, right? The fact that the guy is so joyful and he's enjoying, he's so passionate, and he's just like having so much fun doing what he does. Like, he loves what he does. We all feel that. That's why his message is so powerful. So, like, it's huge. I think it's huge. I don't think, it's been a week and we still see content about it. I think it's going to create a big impact around the world. So I think this is what we either can start bringing into the space of relationships, or eventually naturally is going to happen. I think this is what we are touching. In humanity, we're speaking finally this language. We all know this concept. We all know that all we need is love, and that joy is what, the joy is the answer. All we need is love, and joy is the answer. I'm sure you're agreeing with me. We just need to have fun. We just need to remember how to be children again, how to be kids again. We already know this concept. So I don't see this being too far from what's happening in the politics context, if we can say. So, those are the energetics that we have on the plate for St. Valentine this year. Coming out of the shedding, the year of the snake. So, in case you were wondering, like, what is it that feels like kind of different and weird and new and exciting, but also like kind of awkward? That's where we are. Finally, we are in a time in history where these ideas are being normalized. I think the fact that we responded so well to his message, because we have integrated these ideas, unconditional love. We all know that that's, especially with the craziness that is going around, we're like, yeah. Not because we didn't know. And he was like, oh, I'm showing you for first time, this could be the answer. No, we're like, yeah, that's it. Nothing else is what we need. So when we are in those places, it's like right away we kind of step into new versions of ourselves collectively, which is super exciting. So love in St. Valentine this year might feel a little different. So, it's almost like we are still catching up to this. And I think a lot of us, where we're realizing it's like, okay, it's time to truly love myself. We've been in this journey of loving ourselves. We've been learning how to do the face mask and how to spend time with ourselves and do a little bit of therapy and regulating our nervous system. But I think Now it's like there's another level. I can go deeper, because that's the only way I'm going to attract and to create that unconditional love. And there's other layers. Maybe I can go into that now. I was maybe thinking keeping it for another video, but I feel like in that process of us, of, you know, this is the new regulated human, you know, that I am. And how can I go from this human into a relationship wherein there's a lot of people that are not at the same level? There's something that I can see it will happen, and it's that us being so regulated, we are going to be able to regulate others that just were doing other things while we were doing all the therapy or the self-development. There's no way that they are going to be able to catch up by themselves. The love that Bad Bunny is showing us, that way of leading from love, joyfulness, is what's going to help us to raise the guys, the people that still are super wounded, hiding, protecting themselves, not showing us the beauty of what they truly are. So in the meantime, let's do Ho'oponopono together. So that was a little, you know, review of the energetics, what we might be feeling, but also I'm sure that there are amazing humans that were able to, you know, both masculine and feminine catch up, and they are experiencing expansive, beautiful love, showing us what's possible. So congrats for those that are, you know, maybe you are in a beautiful relationship. I celebrate you. Please show us and lead us with that special love that you might be experiencing at the moment. Let's now talk about the Ho'oponopono, how we can practice it and how it can support us, especially for these shedding and for any other moments, any other challenging moments. But the beauty of this is that it's a love tool, if we can say. Yeah, that's why I wanted to share it in this moment, in the month of love. So let's go. Let's dive deep into that tool. We already understand that when we are born, even when we are in our mom's bellies, we are pure love. You look at babies, they're smiling, they're happy. Nothing more contagious, more beautiful than the giggles and the little smiles of a child or of a baby. We already know that. And through experiences in life, unfortunately, we start protecting ourselves, and we start developing mechanisms of protection to stay safe. That's how we are wired, that's the nature of humans. You know, if you're not super familiar, there's tons of neuroscience information, even here on YouTube, books, and people that you could, you know, if you feel inspired by this and you're not very familiar with this process, there's a lot of people talking about this. That's how we are wired. We run from the predators, and, you know, back then, now predators are triggers. Anything that makes us feel unsafe. So in that moment, when we are protecting ourselves, obviously we are away from love, from being that expression of love. So one thing that sometimes it's nice to remind ourselves of is that, yes, we all are love. Through our lives, we learn these mechanisms, and we already understand also that by doing self-development and connecting with spirituality, what we're doing is going back to be that expression of love. One special fun thing that I like to share, when I talk about this, is that unique expression of love, because we all are so different, but we all are love. A fun way to learn what unique expression of love you are, and super helpful, of course, it is astrology. also human design, also the gene keys. And I think there are multiple of those tools that can help you to understand your unique essence, how love is expressed through you, through that unique nature. So you know, we have this human body, and we are inside, you know, that energy of love wanting to be expressed, but we have these mechanisms to protect ourselves from the predators, the triggers, people that we feel are going to attack us. And the one thing that I would like to explain is that since we are born, maybe even when we are in our mom's belly, we have this electromagnetic field. Neuroscience explains this better or just different. Everyone has like a different way to approach these things. So I just hope that the way I see it, it's easy for you to understand. Otherwise, always feel free to make me questions. I'll be more than happy to answer if this gets a little confusing. So we have this field of energy around us. And even, when we are in our mom's belly, you know, we understand that sometimes moms go through traumatic experiences when they're pregnant with us. So we start collecting in that field things, not only negative things, not only the traumatic things. We also collect the beautiful, positive things. So we are born, you know, we arrive to this world, and we have that field of information of positive and negative things. When we talk about triggers, what's happening there is that imagine each human walking around with that field full of things. One thing that is important to mention here also is that I think our perception is only like we only perceive the 40% of things. You know, we as humans, we're new to understanding life and the potential of who we are and what we're experiencing. So there's just like tons of information available for us, but most people only perceive the 40% of that information. So when we feel activated, when there's a trigger, what's happening there is that the field of other person has a similar thing active in their field, and when we are in interaction, you know, the part that is similar to, that is at the same frequency of the other person, I hope that's clear, like it gets activated. A way to explain this is that, you know, we all have had experiences like this where we are in a group of friends, and the way we interact with one friend, we notice that that friend always talks like a little loud to us, and then the same person is very sweet with another of our friends, and we are like, why he's sweeter with them? We all have experienced this. What's happening there is that these other two people have, you know, in their field, other things activate in their fields. And I'm talking about triggers now, but when we talk about relationships, you know, our fields connect also with the beautiful and special things, you know. So that's why one people is going to activate some things to us, and that same people might not activate anything for others. So I'm explaining all this because when we are going to work with the Ho'oponopono, the powerful thing about Ho'oponopono is a technique that would take us to love. It is just like a pathway, a direct pathway to love, but it gives us a lot of ownership. It's very empowering when we understand that it's almost like, I'm sure you're familiar with this idea, this concept that we chose our parents, we chose the lives we are living. So that reminds us, like, I chose this package, you know, it's my stuff, you know, things that are active is my responsibility, it's on me. And that doesn't mean that, you know, that it's a negative thing, you know, and that you have to figure everything out. That's the journey of life, you know, working with the things that activate. Here is a little trigger with this person. It's an opportunity to get curious, to explore. That way, you know, we're not so hard on ourselves, and I feel like it helps us to separate a little bit, like, okay, we all are love. you know. We all are different expressions of love. This person that is coming into my life and is activating some things in my field is just serving, you know, serving me to work on this thing, to explore these things, and hopefully to get rid of it, to let it go. So yeah, I feel like this whole thing about Ho'oponopono, like the perspective, it gives us a lot of perspective and allowed us to separate from, I know this is gonna sound a little bit woo-woo, but allowed us to separate a little bit from the human experience and to look from outside, to have like bird eyes and see like, yeah, it's all good, even if it's painful, even if it's hard. As I mentioned, I forgot if I didn't mention, but I will repeat the idea. There's a lot of people that teach us this tool, this concept of Ho'oponopono. I'm going to share quickly how I use it. But yeah, I think I shared this already. I encourage you to create your own version, to find what works and resonates, what feels authentic for you to use it. The tool is super simple. It's 4 sentences, and the idea is to repeat these sentences. But I'm going to explain, I'm going to give an example when something happens and we are super triggered, and how we can use the tool to work through that situation. The sentences go: I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. 4 sentences. And I think, you know, everyone uses this in different ways. I don't know if there's an amount of times that you have to repeat it. It's like, feel for you, what feels good and what feels right. But I think it's important to understand why we do it and what's the power behind this. The idea is that we're going to say these words to that magnetic field around us. We can say that that magnetic field also is our consciousness. You know, as I said, we, through our lives, we have different levels of consciousness. We all recognize that when we go through experiences and we feel expanded after the experience, it's almost like we have a different level of consciousness, right? We're evolving, we're changing all the time. We are like expanding of consciousness. So we can say that that electromagnetic field around of us, with all these things that are activated, that's our consciousness. And we are saying these sentences to our own consciousness. We don't even have to say them to the person. You know, we are going to work with the thing that got activated by someone helped, served us, you know, to notice and, you know, to be able to understand that that's active in our lives. So yeah, I just wanted to say, it's never about the other person. I know that's a little difficult sometimes to understand and to see, because we're so used to blaming others and finding who's the guilty one, who's the responsible one. And it's all about our electromagnetic field. It's all about our consciousness. They have different level of consciousness, and you might have also experienced that sometimes we meet with friends, with people that we are like, oh, we understand so well, everything flows so fun. And usually for us that follow this lifestyle of expanding and growing, self-development and spirituality, we change so much that a lot of the times we don't feel we align with our friends, and we change group of friends, and that's why. So it's all about our level of consciousness and what's active in our consciousness. And one other thing that is helpful to understand here, in my case, has been very helpful, because a lot of the times I'm like, I know that's active in my field, but I don't feel like it's my stuff. I don't feel like there's an event in my life that created that activation. So a lot of the times it's our parents. Astrology can help a little bit to understand this. A lot of people that have 12th house, we pick up the collective stuff. And so our electromagnetic field fills up with our family's stuff, grandparents and parents. And it's all good, you know? It's like what an amazing opportunity to have a trigger, an activation, so we can get rid of that. And that's what we are experiencing with this last shedding of the year of the snake. And we're going to enter very quickly into eclipse season. That is also going to help a little bit to release all the karmatic stuff, all the things from our ancestors, and things that are just heavy, you know, in our field. So the idea is that once we find that activating thing, they're just like, oh, this person did that. Don't focus on the person. Like, focus on what is activating that thing inside of you. It's activating frustration, it's activating not feeling enough, it's activating abandonment, it's activating... What is activating? Once you find it, understand that it's just your perception. Something happened either in your life or, you know, in others, that you learned that it's the way you experience life, and it's being in your field, meaning it is what's familiar. That's the way you've been running, that's the way you've been operating. Doesn't mean that that's you or that it's meant to stay with you, even if, you know, especially if it's activating. If it's activating, it has to go. It's not you. Okay, so that's when we arrive to that understanding of the motion of the activation. Then that's when we use the sentences. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you are in my consciousness. I'm sorry, consciousness, that I've been keeping this without knowing. I'm sorry that we are not only love. Because that's you know, that's what we were when we were babies, right? That's what we want to be again. I'm sorry that I've been carrying this heavy thing in my field. I'm sorry to your consciousness, to your field, to yourself. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you for releasing this, for letting it go. I love you. I love you. And when you say that, it's like we can also try to connect with the times you have say I love you to someone. It's such a beautiful, massive energy. I love you. And that's you loving yourself. Oh my God, I'm hoping so much that this is touching the right place for you, the same way this touched, you know, my heart yesterday when I was reminded about this information, and the way it touched me the first time I connected with this information. It's so powerful, it's so beautiful, and it is a tool that is there available for us whenever there's something challenging. So the idea with the exercise is that the sentences, you know, I recommend to not go crazy and focus in too many things, because some people might have a lot of situations active in their lives. Focus on the most activating thing. Focus on the main one, because the more you practice with that big thing that's activated in your life, your body, your spirit, your soul, you know, you start integrating the energies, the power. I'm sorry to myself. Forgive me for not knowing, for not being aware. Thank you. You're so amazing. You're showing up. You're doing this. I love you. You're so wonderful. You're so powerful. You kind of like, you create almost like a spell, I want to say, when you say these words. It's that powerful. And then you go into your day, you know, reminding yourself, okay. And the thing that happens is that because we are doing this with so much intentionality, once we go into life and maybe there's a similar situation that makes us feel similarly to what was so activating, we have a different awareness. you know, and it's a process. Obviously, little by little, we start responding differently. Oh, this person is doing something that is making me feel the same way. I am forgiving myself for not knowing that I can respond differently. And I love myself so freaking much. I'm so passionate about this, that I am choosing to respond differently, you know, and go into that journey, because in that journey you might find that maybe you want to learn, you want to study how to be that new person that you want to be. Maybe it will come for you naturally. There are some times that we need the inspiration, that we need to, okay, how do I communicate better? How do I express these ideas, you know, my needs? Or yeah, it feels like a lot of the times comes to communication, but your case might need, require something unique. So, and you might be in that place where you're like, I don't know how to do this. So allow yourself to go and learn and explore and be an amazing human, the amazing human you deserve and you came to be. That's all for today. I am sending you so much love. I'm just like super happy and excited that I was able to connect again with this message, with this information, with this tool, and to be able to share it with you guys. I really hope that it's super helpful. Happy month of the love. Happy St. Valentine. Yeah, and happy year of the horse. I'll be back soon with more content in this YouTube channel, but also I cannot wait to start connecting with you guys on the Instagram account. For now, thank you so much for watching. Until my next video.